Hello, Blue Line family. This is Tom Bailey, Superintendent of Schools, welcoming you back to another edition of Facebook Live today. Thank you very much for joining us. Today, I just want to follow up from something I spoke about 2 weeks ago. I spoke about the 6 awards that we received for the state of Ohio, which was very exciting news for our district. And I want to speak a little bit about our performance index. And this is an indicator on our state report card that led to many of those awards, especially the 3 Momentum Awards at Bel Air, at Washington Middle School, and for the district overall. So the performance index on the state report card measures the results of every student's state test that they take. And that's calculated through a formula. There are 7 levels to the performance index. And once that's calculated, a number is given to the district. So I'm very proud that from 2017 to 2018, we increased our performance index greatly by over 4 points, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're dealing with several thousand state tests being given over the period of a school year, it's very difficult to increase by that much. So we went in 2017, we were ranked out of the 610 school districts at 513th in the state for our performance index. We increased that by over 60 places and jumped to 446th in the state. So we're very pleased and proud of that. And that's why we really push our students to grow, because when they grow individually in their academics, then they're able to perform better on the state test and increase their proficiency level on that test. So even if a student only moves up 1 level on that test, that is, the district and the buildings are rewarded through the performance index score. So we look forward to working with the students continually. Our teachers are doing a great job of high quality instruction in the classroom. We're making sure that our curriculum is aligned to the standards and that we are really giving our students the best chance to compete in a very global society at this point. So that's an update about our academic piece, and something that's very important to our academic piece is reading. And we're coming to you live today from Carnegie Public Library, which is a beautiful space in our city, and we're very, very happy to be here and just grateful for the Carnegie family to host us today. If you have not been to the library, and we're going to come to you from the library again in a few weeks, because this space is gorgeous and we're going to talk about the library itself. Today, though, we have a very special guest, our K through 5 Curriculum Instruction Director, Dianna Wayne, and she's going to talk to us about reading in general, the importance of reading, and some things that we're doing here in the district to really help our students to read better, to have a better love of reading, and how we can get our families involved. So, Mrs. Wayne, thank you very much for being with us today. And why don't you tell us about reading in general and why it's important for our students to read, not only at school and learning to read at school, but to really build that capacity to read at home and have a love of reading.
Well, I would like to thank Mr. Bailey for asking me to speak on reading today. I think the weather outside the last couple of days really lends itself to a good book. So we might be interrupting some of you while you're sitting at home, maybe curled up by the fireplace with a good book. But as Mr. Bailey said, reading is a huge priority and a focus in our city schools. And not only are we working with the teachers to work on the curriculum and improve our instruction, but we want parents to be a partner with us in reading. So the importance of reading, I could talk all day on, but let's just hit kind of the most important ones. First of all, reading is the fundamental in today's society. You have to be able to read, whether it's a recipe or whether you're reading on the internet or reading for pleasure or following your favorite sports team or the ads you see or warning signs. So reading is just fundamental. You have to be able to read in order to be functioning in today's society. But along with that, I think the other importance is reading really is a social aspect. It teaches us things. We learn from it, and we're able to talk with other people and converse and learn from that. And then, of course, reading stimulates the brain. That's how our brain functions. It's a muscle. It's got to grow. So you really want to make sure that you're reading and learning and growing. So those are just, obviously why we focus on reading and why it's important, because it's fundamental to everything we do. And I think we take a lot of that for granted if we really thought about it. So much of what we do, we don't even think about that is through the reading.
Super. So what advice do you have, Mrs. Wayne, for students who say, I don't enjoy reading, or I'm not a very good reader? Where do they start? How can they get engaged with that whole concept of reading?
So I would say, unfortunately, I hear that a lot. You have students frequently say, I don't like to read, or I'm not good at reading. And there's different ways to take that. I think, first of all, as a parent, if you know that your student struggles, I encourage you to talk to the classroom teacher. They are experts in teaching reading. We work together as teams. So let's make sure if they don't like to read, that we know if there's an underlying issue or something that we can do to improve their reading. The other big thing that I tell students, my own kids, as a matter of fact, I have 3 kids of my own, and sometimes as they were growing up, they said they didn't like to read. And I always tell them, it's not necessarily that you don't like to read, you haven't found you like to read yet. So giving students choice. If you're a parent that your child doesn't like to read, really take a look at what they're interested in so that you can sit beside them and find things that they would enjoy reading based on their interest. So a lot of it's choice, encouraging, talking to the teacher. Those are ways that we can hopefully help students enjoy reading more.
And reading is just not about picking up a large book or a novel and reading it from cover to cover. We're looking at improving reading skills in many different genres and different types of reading materials. So, for example, and correct me if I'm wrong, if a student or a child likes to fish, that maybe there's books or magazines or reading material that would go along with that love of fishing,
right.
where they could learn as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, this morning when I got up and knew I was going to be on Facebook Live, I pulled this off my nightstand, maybe I did, and talk, just like you said, there's lots of different genres, and there's different things that interest us at different times. So, for instance, this is the book I'm reading right now, but I also have my book club book, and then sometimes I read for professional. This is a professional book that I read. And then back to that social piece, this book on the bottom is a book that a friend gave me that we want to talk about. So there's different types of reading. There's different times that you may be interested in certain things. And also reading kind of has a wax and wane to it. Sometimes you read a lot, and then sometimes you get caught up in other hobbies. But there's just a plethora of books and topics and things out there that can pique your interest for sure.
Awesome. Well, we have some exciting things coming up for our students, especially over the next few weeks with Bel Air and Cherry Hill, with some literacy nights coming up. And I think you want to maybe make an announcement about Bel Air's literacy program first, because that's coming up very shortly.
So our district, our Cherry Hill building and our Bel Air building and our middle school building are title funded. And part of our title funding is we want to get out and work with parents in the community to increase our reading and just to kind of get that passion for reading. So I'm excited to say that tomorrow when the kids return, this is for Bel Air students, when they return to school tomorrow, they'll be getting a clue. They'll be getting a clue about a book that everybody in the building will receive on Monday, February 4th. And I actually brought a book here. This is my own copy. But like I said, every student at Bel Air will be getting a book, and you'll see the clue tomorrow, and then they'll also get a treat to go home with the book on Monday. But then what we want is all month long for you to sit down with your student at Bel Air and listen to them read. Read to them. If you find the books too hard, read to them. I think the assignment will be about 2 chapters every night, Monday through Thursday. And then at the end of the month, in March, we'll have a big culminating activity where Bel Air will be open, the school will be decorated, there'll be games and activities and dinner. We want parents to come out and all the students to come out and just have fun with the book that we've all shared in for the last month. So that's exciting for Bel Air.
Super, super. So we'll have some more opportunities
Yep.
for other students in the district coming up, but Bel Air kind of gets us started on,
Yep.
on the literacy program in terms of getting a school-wide book. So I'd like to thank Mrs. Wayne for being with us today. We really appreciate her being here. I'd like to thank all of our friends at Carnegie Public Library for being here. And I do want to let you know that if you do not have a library card, please come out and get a library card. Bring your child to Carnegie and look around. It's a great place to be. Just so you know, on weekdays, Carnegie is open from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. and on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. There's great activities here, games, books for the whole family. We'd like to thank everyone for tuning in today, and check back with us next Thursday around the noon hour for our next edition of Facebook Live in Washington Courthouse City Schools. Thank you very much.